Hello students, this is Allie Gentry speaking. I am here today to discuss Jacob Riis, one of the first modern photojournalists. Jacob Riis was born in Ribe, Denmark in 1849 and immigrated to New York City in 1870. All he brought with him was $40 and a locket from his love. He was at first unable to find work, so he was forced to stay in police lodging houses and had to beg for food. This is when he first experienced the inhumane horrors of poverty in American cities. Riis became a police reporter for the New York Evening Sun in 1873. He studied tenement houses where immigrants lived, which were the poorest regions with the highest rates of crime. As he kept researching these areas, he began to bring a camera and take shocking photographs of the conditions human beings had to live in. Here is a photograph taken by Riis which illustrates the horrid conditions of the police station lodgers. As you can see, there are at least 8 people crammed into this small room, and they have little to no blankets or mattresses. It is evident how easily disease can be spread in these close quarters, especially when the people are already not getting enough food or hydration. This room is unsafe, unsanitary, and unfair to the people who have to live in it. Here is In Sleeping Quarters, Rivington Street Dump. And by the name, you can already tell this is not somewhere you would want to live or raise your family. So this was another image taken by Riis portraying an example of a tenement. You can see one of the residents, a man, hunched over in the forefront of the photo. His body position hints that he is very crammed in his space, and he also looks tired. There is nothing in this tiny room other than some essentials, such as shoes, a place to sleep, and a few personal items. Riis was very talented at portraying the living conditions of the poor. These two images make me empathize with those who have to live here and even raise families here. Riis wanted to bring attention in society to the horrible conditions the impoverished experienced, such as slums and tenements, so that they would hopefully take actions against the inhumane circumstances. He believed that moral citizens, regardless of wealth, should be given a chance to improve their lives, so Riis tried to get private wealth to help the civil men who were stuck in slums. Riis portrayed the slums to the middle and upper classes by using photography, books, articles, and lantern slide lectures in order to facilitate understandings and communications between the vastly different social classes. I think the photography was what was the most shocking and touching medium to the rich. Riis's most famous work is How the Other Half Lives. Its purpose was to call attention to the living conditions of a whole half of the people of New York City. Riis used his photos to portray the shockingly cheap construction of the tenements, the high rents, and the lazy landlords. His images were able to better convey the horrors to people in a way that words could not. He spoke out against the lack of laws on these issues and wanted private donations to provide funding for the rebuilding. As you can see in the bottom right image, the walls of the tenement are even beginning to crumble, leaving the people in even worse and more unsafe conditions. Here's an image from the previous slide, bigger, and this one was especially touching to me because you can see the very small amount of room, and it appears that people are laying on the debris on the left and right hand sides. There's debris everywhere, and it's just countless young men sleeping on the ground inches from each other. Here's a quote by Jacob Riis. "The reason charity has been discredited is because it has worked with the broken fragments, the drunken and the shiftless, helping as it could, mourning that such things must be, but never asking the reason why or knowing anything of the honest, thrifty poor who live lives of heroism such as we cannot live." So in that quote, he was discussing the families and the morally just people who were living in these conditions at the time. So this picture follows with the quote that Riis said, The images in How the Other Half Lives also portray families with hardworking parents, proving that helping these people would not be wasting money on drunks, but helping families in need. In this image, we can see two young children and their parents, and what is seen here is all that they have. This is unsuitable and unsafe for a family to raise children. Who knows who could be ravaging around outside this small room? Who knows what diseases could be fermenting? Here are a few more images for you to get the full effect of How the Other Half Lives. This is the Den of Death. Here is It Costs $1 a month to sleep in these sheds. This is Seen on the Roof of the Mott Street Barracks. You can see here that the kids on the left don't even have clothing on. And here is a 7-cent lodging house, Pell Street. And this was all that the people were able to sleep on. Like, they had no rooms to themselves. They were so close to other people. It was just very unsanitary conditions. Sociology is the study of the development, structure, and functioning of human society. Visual sociology focuses on how images represent social situations and inequality. Jacob Riis essentially was a sociologist. He recognized the social injustices that the poorer classes had to suffer through, and he used his stellar photography skills to bring national attention to the shockingly terrible living conditions of the impoverished. He was able to make a difference through his medium of photography. Here is my bibliography in ASA style, and here is my bibliography for my photographs used. Thank you for